Dear Dairy, Thursday would have been chicken day. Also, would have been the day that I moved my car. You will note that is, I suppose technically it's past tense, but it never happened. So, can it be past if it didn't happen? Anyway, a few automotive tips from me to you. When you're working on your car and you know that the transmission fluid was leaking like a sieve out of the transmission, and you go to the store and you buy, you look it up, and you know that your Mercury Sable wagon, which is as blue as a Montana sky, you know, having looked up the stats on your car, that it holds 12 quarts of transmission fluid. And you know from basic math and baking and cookery and things like that, that this is 4 gallons of transmission fluid. So you go and you buy 4 gallons of transmission fluid. You get back and you take the big long funnel that you've just purchased. You pull out the dipstick, you lay it across the front of the little engine bay, and you put the funnel nice and solid in the doohickey, and you open one of the things and you pour it in, and it all goes. And you open the second one and you start pouring, and you're about halfway through. And suddenly you hear this thick sort of splattering sound of something pouring onto the cement under your car. And your incredibly intelligent brain says, "Holy crap!" And you stop pouring. It's about half, yeah. So you know you've put an entire gallon in so far. And now you've got a half a gallon, roughly, in your hands. And you're like, wait, that's only 6 quarts. What the hell? And so you're a little confused as to what's going on, and you look, you grab your flashlight and you look into the thing because it's dark outside, and you look into the thing and you can see from around the base of the funnel where it's in the thing where the dipstick goes, you can see transmission fluid kind of leaking out and pouring down the side of the thing. You're like, that is not right. And you look under the front of your car and there is a puddle of transmission fluid. It's thick and red. It is crimson blood oozing its way towards the street. And you're like, we don't have any kitty litter. Oh, man. So you run to the shed and you grab a shovel and you go to the front planter bed thing, which is full of dead rose bushes, and you grab a huge scoop of dirt and you run back and you throw it onto the thing and you spread it around. You're like, this will keep it from getting into the gutter and everything. This will hold it until I can deal with it later. What the hell is going on with this transmission? I don't understand. So I got all that, stabilized. I'm like, I'm not going to put in any more just yet. Let's wait and see what happens. And I moved to reposition the van like 8 times to get it close enough for this incredibly short pair of jumper cables to reach from one battery to the other. So I finally got them where they're basically battery to battery, but like the tail end of the van is sticking out into the street. Anyway, so I got them hooked up. I went and I started my car, which was like, and I'm like, don't do this to me, come on. And so it finally turned over and it started running just fine. And I wound up letting it run for like an hour and a half. And I shifted it through its gears a couple of times and everything to try to get the transmission fluid all worked around and stuff. And ultimately I wound up driving it around the block. Now, for the first leg of the journey, which is about maybe an eighth of a mile to the corner of the, well, maybe a quarter of a mile down to the corner over there. It was a little kind of, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want. It was a little sluggish in some of its gear shifting, but I mean, it's been sitting in the driveway for a long time. And so I made the turn, and as I was making the turn, part of it was kind of like, and I was like, what was, yeah, kind of like that. I was like, what exactly was that sound? And then here comes the Coast Guard chopper. But anyway, so the rest of the way down to Reed and then over to Wolf and then back up Wolf, it was okay. I got it up to about 35, and everything. It was doing all right. It wasn't lurching as it was shifting gears as much anymore. It was acting a little more normal. I was a little hesitant to get it higher than 35 just because of the way it was acting at the beginning, but I think it will probably survive the trip over. But turns out that my, soon-to-be housemate, are you just hovering out there? What the hell is going on? Get over to the Air Force Base. Go. Yeah, sure. Just, it's not like anybody's recording a vlog or anything. They probably just had to pick somebody up out of the Pacific Ocean and they're flying them over to... Anyway, they do that a lot. The Coast Guard Life Flight Chopper does a lot of rescue around here. Anyway, so my car made it all the way around the block, and after having let it run for an hour and a half, when I was shutting it off, because that's where we eventually had to get back into the core of the story. My soon-to-be housemate is apparently out of town, and the other housemate, Matt, who is the one who would most likely be working on the car because he's the mechanic. Well, they're all kind of mechanics, but I guess Matt is a little more better-ish, or doesn't hate Fords as much as everybody else in the house does. Anyway, he's also the one who's in slightly more dire need of the money. Anyway, he would be the one that was working on the car. Apparently, he's got a bunch of cars over there that he's already been working on. And so my husband is like, let's wait until he gets rid of some of the cars that are there, and then, I'll come over, take a look at the car, make sure that it's okay, and we'll get it over there, and everything will be fine. I mean, don't worry about it. Okay. All right. We'll do it the way you want to, man. You're basically my mechanic. Fine. However you want to do it, we'll do it. So I may not even wind up moving the car until I get back from Houston, which happens in just a couple of days. I'm so excited. I am so excited. So here we are, closing in on 8.5 minutes. Pretty close. And I really don't have much else to talk about. We've got the End of the Portal podcast tomorrow. Yeah, I'm sure people are going to have a ton to talk about, and I won't really, because during last week I was, a lot of the time during the week I was watching people play, Landmark a lot. This week I've seen virtually none, and so I don't really think I'm going to have a lot to contribute to the discussion. But I have a strong suspicion that if I try to bow out and say, well, I don't really have anything to contribute per se, so just go ahead and let somebody else fill my spot, you're going to throw a hissy fit over, no, we've got to have you. It's like, why? I appreciate the fact that there are members of the audience who really like me, and I do appreciate that a great deal. At some point, things are going to get busy for me on the voice acting front, and I'm not going to be able to do the show anymore. I'm not saying that's happening right now. I'm just saying at some point it will happen. I don't know. We'll find out. I've got a question for Chris Roberts. I've got to remember to send that email off before I go to Houston so that they have time to do it for 10 for the chairman. I bet they've already. All right, never mind. I'll tell you about it later if he answers the question. I'll point it out to you. Or you could just go and watch 10 for the chairman from now until eternity. Yeah, so I'll let you guys go, and I will talk to you tomorrow, which will be Friday. And it'll be Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. Ooh, because I leave at like 11 a.m. on Sunday. So I'll have to record Motivational Monday and TMI Tuesday on Saturday, I imagine. Okay, so I will let you guys go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Right? Until next time, be careless.